Man insults Keanu Reeves on a first-class flight, instantly regrets it when the truth. Before we continue, please remember to like, share and subscribe. The scene opens inside the plush first-class cabin of a commercial airplane. The hum of the engines fills the air as the camera focuses on a man in his mid-30s, impeccably dressed in a tailored suit. Seated comfortably in his expansive leather chair, he leisurely flips through the in-flight magazine. His eyes catch an article about Keanu Reeves, the renowned actor. A smirk forms on his face as he scoffs at the headline. Keanu Reeves? Just another actor riding on the coattails of the same role, over and over, he mutters to himself, his voice tinged with disdain. A self-satisfied chuckle escapes him, his arrogance blooming with every word. As the flight ascends and the stewardess makes her way down the aisle, the man's posture straightens. His body language shifts, becoming more dominant and sure of himself, as though his opinion on Keanu Reeves somehow elevates his own stature. He glances around the cabin, noticing the other passengers quietly enjoying their flight, but his focus returns to the article. With each page turn, he becomes more entrenched in his judgmental thoughts, barely noticing the world around him. The camera zooms in on his face, highlighting the smug expression that spreads across his features. He looks out the window, self-assured in his knowledge, oblivious to the fact that he's sitting right next to someone who might just change his perspective entirely. The scene encapsulates the man's arrogance, setting the stage for an encounter that will shatter his overconfidence. The scene transitions smoothly, revealing the stranger seated beside the man in first class. The older man, with a quiet grace, sits engrossed in a book, his expression calm and composed. He exudes an air of tranquility, unaffected by the bustling activity of the cabin around him. His quiet presence contrasts sharply with the increasingly vocal arrogance of the man next to him, who remains completely oblivious to his neighbor. As the man continues his tirade, making increasingly biting comments about Keanu Reeves, he assumes the stranger beside him is just another anonymous passenger. He believes his scornful observations will go unnoticed, unaware of who he's actually speaking to. The man's voice grows louder, each remark aimed at mocking Keanu's career, belittling him for being typecast and predictable. The stranger, however, doesn't flinch or show any visible sign of agitation. His eyes remain fixed on his book, the corners of his lips curling slightly upward in what seems like a barely contained smile. His reaction is almost imperceptible, a silent acknowledgement of the man's words, but nothing more. His patience is profound, and he appears to be choosing his words carefully, as if he knows exactly how the situation will unfold. The tension in the air thickens with every insult the man throws, yet the stranger remains a pillar of calmness. The camera captures his serene composure, contrasting with the growing arrogance of the man beside him. It's clear that the man's mocking will continue, unaware that his words may soon lead him down a path of regret. At last, the stranger lowers his book, placing it gently on the tray table in front of him. With a slow, deliberate motion, he turns to face the man. There's no trace of anger or annoyance on his face, only a serene smile. "I've been a fan of Keanu's work for a long time," he says, his voice warm and composed. It's a simple statement, yet it carries an unexpected weight. The man, still caught in the grip of his own arrogance, remains unaware of the significance of the moment. He lets out a dismissive chuckle, rolling his eyes as he shifts his gaze toward the window. "I don't know how anyone can be a fan of him," he sneers. "It's all just an act, nothing more." He leans back in his seat, self-satisfied, confident in his superiority, as though his opinion somehow makes him more enlightened than the quiet man beside him. As he speaks, the camera focuses on the stranger's face, calm, unfazed, and unreadable. There's no anger or offense in his demeanor, only an unwavering patience that seems to signal something greater. He doesn't respond immediately, choosing instead to let the man continue, unaware that the tables are about to turn. The tension in the air is palpable, the man's smug expression growing ever more pronounced as he believes he's won the verbal battle. But the stranger, with quiet dignity, is about to reveal something that will completely shift the power dynamic, leaving the man to question everything he thought he knew. The camera shifts to a tight close-up of the stranger's face, capturing the subtle shift in his expression. He takes a slow, deliberate breath, his eyes locking with the man beside him. For a moment, the world seems to pause. Then, with a calm yet piercing tone, he says, "Actually, I am Keanu." The words hang in the air like a sudden thunderclap, reverberating through the cabin. The man's face freezes, the smug confidence draining from his features as his eyes widen in disbelief. The camera lingers on his stunned expression, zooming in to emphasize the shock slowly dawning on him. The stranger, the very man he's been mocking for the last hour, is none other than the legendary actor he had so freely criticized. The silence that follows is deafening. The man stammers, his thoughts scrambling to process the revelation. His mouth moves, but no words seem to come out at first. His mind races as he tries to reconcile the reality before him with the scornful comments he had just made. The camera cuts between his increasingly flustered face and the stranger's calm, unbothered demeanor. The tension in the air thickens, the atmosphere in the cabin suddenly charged with discomfort. The man's arrogance crumbles to dust, leaving him unsteady and unsure. What was once a confident display of superiority has now turned into a moment of crushing regret. The stranger, still composed, doesn't rush to speak, allowing the weight of his words to settle in the man's mind. The man, still reeling from the revelation, stammers awkwardly, his words tripping over themselves as he tries to salvage some dignity. I didn't mean it like that. I'm sorry, really," he mutters, his voice faltering. His eyes dart nervously to the side, then back to Keanu, but the actor remains completely unfazed. Keanu's calm expression doesn't shift, if anything, there's a subtle hint of amusement in his gaze, though he says nothing in response. The camera cuts back and forth between the man's increasingly embarrassed face and Keanu's serene, almost amused demeanor. The contrast is striking, one man writhing in discomfort, the other as calm as ever. Keanu doesn't rush to ease the tension, allowing the silence to linger, stretching it out deliberately. Each passing second makes the man squirm more, his discomfort palpable. As the silence deepens, the man's shoulders slump, the weight of his earlier arrogance bearing down on him. He opens his mouth, but no words come out. His eyes shift, searching for something, anything, to say that could restore a sense of normalcy, but he's lost. His confidence is gone, replaced by a mounting unease. Just then, the stewardess walks past, overhearing the tail end of the awkward exchange. She glances between the two of them, offering a strained smile, her discomfort evident. Her expression adds an unintentional layer of humor to the already tense situation, offering a brief, fleeting moment of levity amidst the otherwise uncomfortable silence. The camera lingers on the stewardess as she moves on, leaving the man to stew in his regret. Keanu, still wearing his calm, yet serious expression, finally breaks the heavy silence. His voice is steady but carries a weight of wisdom as he speaks. "You know," he begins, his eyes meeting the man's, "it's easy to pass judgment from a distance. People love to criticize others, especially when they feel untouchable, like they're somehow above it all. But at the end of the day, we're all just human." His words hang in the air, cutting through the tension, leaving the man to reflect on the truth of what's being said. The man, still reeling from the shock of his earlier insults, now listens intently, his previous arrogance fading as Keanu continues. "We often make snap judgments based on what we see or hear. It's easy to assume we know everything about someone, but we don't. Every person has their own story, their own struggles, and it's crucial to treat others with kindness and respect." Keanu's voice remains gentle, yet the sincerity in his tone is unmistakable. Jumping to conclusions based on surface-level impressions only leads to misunderstandings. It's better to approach people with an open heart, rather than letting assumptions shape our interactions. The camera zooms out slowly, capturing the change in the man's posture. His body language softens, the brash confidence of earlier replaced by a more humble stance. He nods slowly, clearly absorbing the lesson. His earlier bravado is gone, replaced by a quiet acknowledgement of the truth in Keanu's words. The moment lingers, the man's reflection evident as he takes the lesson to heart. As the flight nears its end, the atmosphere in the cabin is vastly different. The camera focuses on the man, who is now quieter and more subdued. Gone is the arrogance he once displayed. His movements are slower, more thoughtful as he gathers his belongings, the weight of his earlier words hanging over him. He pauses for a moment before turning to Keanu, a look of genuine remorse in his eyes. "I just want to apologize," he says, his voice softer than before. "For everything I said earlier. I was out of line." The words, sincere and humble, break the silence between them. Keanu, with his signature calm, gives a gentle smile, nodding in acknowledgement. "It's all right," he replies. "We all make mistakes. What matters is learning from them." There's no anger in Keanu's voice, no judgment. Just understanding and grace. The man, visibly relieved and thankful for the forgiveness, gives a final nod of appreciation before he makes his way down the aisle. As he walks toward the exit, the camera lingers on his face, reflecting the change within him. The once confident and dismissive man is now walking with a quiet sense of humility, deeply introspective about the lesson he's just learned. Keanu remains seated, unaffected by the encounter, his calm composure unwavering. The camera holds on him for a moment, capturing the grace and dignity with which he handled the situation. As the man exits the plane, the shot cuts back to Keanu, his serene expression embodying the lesson of patience, forgiveness, and humility. The video ends with a final lingering shot of Keanu, emphasizing the unshakable composure he displayed throughout the entire encounter. Please don't forget to give us a like, share and subscribe. Thank you.